This is a lost world, not of myth, but of memory, etched into the very bones of the earth. We are in the late Maastrichtian age, 66 million years ago, in the land we now call North America. Before us lies the Hell Creek Formation, not as a collection of rock and fossils, but as a living, breathing world. It is a vast, humid floodplain, a subtropical labyrinth of redwood forests, cycad groves, and sprawling fern prairies, all crisscrossed by meandering rivers that flow toward the great Western Interior Seaway. This is a kingdom of giants, a theater for the planet's most spectacular dramas. Herds of duck-billed Edmontosaurus move through the clearings like living mountains, while the armored tank Ankylosaurus forages in the dense undergrowth, a creature built for absolute defense. But among these titans, two reign supreme, their destinies intertwined in a timeless evolutionary struggle. On the edge of a cypress swamp, we find our first protagonist, Triceratops horridus. At 30 feet long and weighing upwards of 10 tons, heavier than the largest modern African elephant, it is the very definition of a living fortress. Its magnificent frill, a shield of solid bone, protects a vulnerable neck, while three horns of pure keratin over a bony core present a lethal threat. This is not a passive herbivore. It is a powerful, formidable opponent, the immovable object of its age. But every fortress invites a siege. And in this world, the siege engine has a name that echoes through time: Tyrannosaurus Rex. Hidden in the shadows of the towering redwoods, a 40-foot-long, 9-ton apex predator watches. It is the unstoppable force. Its skull, nearly the size of an armchair, houses teeth like railroad spikes and is capable of generating the most powerful bite force of any terrestrial animal that has ever lived. When we look upon this creature, we are witnessing the culmination of millions of years of predatory perfection. An animal engineered for a single purpose: to hunt and to kill the most dangerous prey on the planet. The stage is set. The players are in position. And in the oppressive Cretaceous heat, the air is thick with the promise of conflict. The Tyrannosaurus does not move. Patience is a weapon, and this adult female is a master of its use. Her gaze is fixed on a large bull Triceratops that is separated slightly from its small herd, focused on stripping bark from a magnolia tree. For the predator, this is a moment of complex calculation. A hunt not of reckless aggression, but of cold reptilian strategy. When we analyze the Tyrannosaur skull, we find evidence of forward-facing orbits. This granted it superb binocular vision, a critical trait shared with modern predators that rely on depth perception to perfectly time a strike. Its brain casts reveal enormous olfactory bulbs, suggesting a sense of smell so acute it could likely track prey over miles, detecting the faintest scent on the wind. Every sense is tuned for this exact purpose. The challenge, however, is immense. A direct frontal assault on a healthy adult Triceratops would be suicidal. Those brow horns, each over 3 feet long, are positioned with geometric perfection to receive a charge and puncture the chest cavity of an attacking theropod. Our fossil records confirm this deadly dance. We have discovered Triceratops bones with healed T-Rex bite marks, proving that these encounters happen. and that the herbivore was more than capable of surviving them. The predator's goal, therefore, is not to shatter the fortress wall, but to bypass it entirely. It seeks an angle of attack, a moment of distraction, a way to get past the lethal horns and target the massive, less protected muscle groups of the hindquarters or flank. A single bite there, delivered with a force of over 12,000 pounds per square inch, an impact powerful enough to crush a modern pickup truck, would cripple the animal, turning a deadly duel into a foregone conclusion. But the Triceratops is no passive victim. It is a veteran of this ancient war, a product of millions of years of predator-prey evolution. Its senses, though different, are just as sharp. Large eyes positioned on the sides of its head provide a wide panoramic view, ever watchful for a flicker of anomalous movement in the foliage. Its hearing is likely attuned to the low-frequency footfalls of a multi-ton stalker. The bull stops chewing, its massive head lifting from the tree. It has not seen the attacker, but it has sensed a change in the atmosphere. It pivots its 10-ton body, almost casually, ensuring its wall of horns and shield-like frill faces the direction of the hidden threat. This is the posture of deterrence. A clear, unmistakable message is being sent. I am aware. I am prepared. The cost of this meal will be steep. The stalemate hangs in the thick, humid air, a silent test of wills between two of the most advanced creatures of their time. And then, the environment itself intervenes. The sky, which had been a hazy, oppressive white, darkens to a bruised purple. A sudden wind whips through the canopy, carrying the scent of ozone and distant rain. The first drops, heavy and warm, begin to fall, rapidly escalating into a torrential, tropical downpour that transforms the landscape. This is the hazard, the unpredictable variable that can rewrite the rules of engagement in an instant. The ground, once firm, begins to soften into a slick, treacherous mud. For the bipedal Tyrannosaurus, with its 2-ton legs, maintaining balance during a high-speed charge becomes exponentially more difficult. A slip, a fall at the wrong moment, and its immense body could be fatally injured. Conversely, for the quadrupedal Triceratops, the mud offers better stability, rooting its 4 pillar-like legs to the spot like an anchor. The storm has washed away the hunter's advantage of surprise, forcing a different, more dangerous kind of confrontation. The time for stealth is over. Now, a battle of raw, unrestrained power is about to begin. The downpour has forced the Tyrannosaur's hand. With the element of surprise washed away, only one path remains: a direct and terrifying show of force. It erupts from the tree line with a roar that is less a sound and more a physical concussion. A low-frequency blast designed by evolution to intimidate, disorient, and shock its prey into a fatal mistake. Each step in its charge is a carefully placed explosion of power, displacing gallons of muddy water. The immediate goal is to create panic, to force the Triceratops into a flight response that would expose its vast, vulnerable flank. But the bull Triceratops does not run. Panic is a luxury its lineage could never afford. It digs in, lowering its colossal head until its horns are parallel with the ground. It ceases to be a forager. It becomes an anvil, ready to meet the hammer. The impact is cataclysmic. The T-Rex, displaying immense cunning, doesn't aim for the horns, a rookie mistake. Instead, it attempts a flanking maneuver, using its massive skull as a battering ram against the herbivore's shoulder, trying to leverage its height to knock the 10-ton animal off balance. But the Triceratops's low center of gravity and powerful quadrupedal stance make it astonishingly stable. It absorbs the blow, staggering but not falling, and in the same fluid motion, pivots on its rear legs. It thrusts forward with its brow horns, not in a wild, desperate stab, but a calculated upward jab, aimed directly at the predator's exposed underbelly. The T-Rex leaps back, demonstrating an agility that seems impossible for an animal of its scale. A deep gash is torn in its thigh, muscle laid bare to the pouring rain, but the horns miss any vital organs. Now the true duel begins. It is a brutal dance of giants, choreographed by instinct and survival. The Tyrannosaurus uses its powerful legs to sidestep, probing for an opening, its head feinting and bobbing. The Triceratops, in turn, keeps its formidable face locked onto the predator, moving with the terrifying grace of a cornered rhino, ensuring its weaponry is always presented forward. Then, in a flash of predatory genius, the T-Rex sees its chance. As the Triceratops adjusts its footing in the slick mud, its frill momentarily dips lower than usual. The predator lunges, not with an open-mouthed bite, but with a closed mouth, crushing impact from the side of its jaw, aimed with precision at the base of the bull's right horn. This isn't a killing blow, it is a disarming one. We have fossil evidence of Triceratops' horns and frills showing incredible damage from Tyrannosaur attacks, some healed, some not. The force is staggering, and the sound is a sickening crack of bone that cuts through the roar of the storm. The bull's horn, a weapon it has carried its entire adult life, snaps at the base. Pain and shock register. The fortress has been breached. The injured bull, its primary defense compromised, bellows in a mixture of agony and fury. It makes one last, desperate defensive charge, driving the predator back several feet, before turning and retreating with surprising speed toward the relative safety of its herd. The Tyrannosaurus, bleeding heavily from its own deep wound and exhausted from the immense energy expenditure, does not give chase. This battle was not about dominance. It was about a brutal, biological cost-benefit analysis. The risk of pursuing the injured but still lethally dangerous prey is now too high. In the primeval arena of Hell Creek, victory is not always measured by a kill, but simply by living to fight another day. The rain begins to subside, washing the blood from the forest floor and steaming off the warm hides of the retreating herd. What we have just witnessed was more than a simple fight between predator and prey. It was a single, visceral scene in a biological epic that spanned millions of years. This was an evolutionary arms race, the most famous in our planet's history. For every adaptation in the hunter, there arose a counter-adaptation in the hunted. As tyrannosaurs evolved more powerful skulls and bone-shattering bites, Triceratopsians evolved larger, more robust frills and deadlier horns. Each species was the selective pressure on the other, forging its rival into a more perfect version of itself in a relentless cycle of innovation and survival. The Tyrannosaurus rex was the undisputed keystone species of this environment. Its presence dictated the behavior and evolution of nearly every other large animal in Hell Creek. By preying on the large herbivores, it prevented overgrazing, ensuring the stability of the flora that formed the foundation of the entire food web. Its hunts, even the unsuccessful ones like this, created a landscape of fear that kept herds moving, preventing them from devastating any single area. Even its kills provided sustenance for a host of smaller scavengers, from dromaeosaurs to early mammals. ensuring that no energy was wasted. The relationship between T-Rex and Triceratops was not one of simple villain and victim. It was the violent, creative engine that drove the balance of one of the most successful and dynamic ecosystems Earth has ever known. They were the twin titans of the Late Cretaceous, the unstoppable force and the immovable object, whose legendary conflict defined an age. For over 2 million years, they played out this deadly drama across the floodplains of North America. They were a testament to the sheer power and terrifying perfection that evolution can produce. When we unearth their fossilized remains from the Badlands today, we are not just digging up bones. We are recovering the final, dramatic chapter of the age of dinosaurs. A story of a world ruled by giants, written in tooth and claw. They were the ultimate expression of a prehistoric dynasty. Icons of a lost world that will forever capture the human imagination. But their world was about to face a threat, not from below, but from the heavens above. A cataclysm that would bring their reign to a sudden and fiery end. Join us next time as we explore the day the sky fell and the world of the dinosaurs was changed forever.